Alright, welcome back to Plants vs. Zombies ECLISE. So last time we completed Lost City, or at least Lost City Part 1, and we beat S-4, a very, very hard level. But now we get to play through Dark Ages. And, well, Dark Ages also has a particularly bad secret level in it as well. But we'll deal with that later, I suppose. For now, these normal levels aren't going to be too bad. What we need is someone to brighten this place up. I got it. We need sun shrooms. These guys not only know how to turn a frown upside down, they make more sun as they grow. Great guys, very talented. One of the rare cases where user Dave's sane. What are the odds? Okay. Most levels in vanilla actually do this, where you use a plant on the level before you unlock it. It's kind of interesting that they don't do that 90% of the time in ECLISE, but we do it with the Dark Ages plants. But admittedly, you kind of need these two plants in Dark Ages. Now, as far as how to deal with attacking the zombies. Considering the graves and that sort, I think Cabbage Polt is a pretty good idea. We haven't used Cabbage Polt in a while, but you know, he's okay in Dark Ages. I mean, I'll bring Spring Bean. I'll probably use him once in the level just to show what he does. Alright. So Sunshroom recharges quite fast. The thing about Sunshroom is he makes sun in units of 15, just like Plants vs. Zombies 1. And after a little while, they'll grow and start producing more sun. But it takes them quite a while to grow compared to vanilla PvZ 2. Do I need to freeze him? I did need to freeze him. Watch this. There we go. I used Spring Bean. I actually used Spring Bean. Once the sunshrooms start growing like this, then you get some actual sun production up. The beginning of Dark Ages levels can always be a little sketchy. Now they're producing sun in units of 30, and then once they grow to their final stage, they'll start producing sun in units of 50. Now, obviously, this is a massive, massive nerf from vanilla, but it's also kind of needed because Sunshroom in vanilla was insanely good. Sunshroom's definitely received quite a few nerfs, actually, and yet it's still better than Sunflower for nighttime levels, considering you can't even plant Sunflower for a while in them. But yeah, it produces less sun each level, it takes longer to grow up, and you can only use it at nighttime, not at daytime, which still has the advantage that it's spammable. And once your Sunshrooms start growing, all of a sudden you're making crazy amounts of sun. But despite every single nerf that came its way, Sunshroom is still good. Ooh, okay. And now we're going to be getting even more sun production. So at this point we can afford to dig up most of our stuff. These guys are now producing as much as a sunflower, and in vanilla they made 75 at a time, so definitely a nerf compared to that. And yet, Sunshroom is still better than Sunflower for nighttime levels because it's almost impossible to get sunflowers in the first place in a nighttime level. Also, you can see gravestones are appearing later on in the level. Gravestones in Dark Ages can reappear. And I think pretty soon after this, we're going to start seeing levels where, the, zombies are going to be popping out of the graves in necromancy ambushes. But this does show that Spring Bean does have a good amount of tactical use in this game if you really know how to use it properly. This is the only sun gravestone of the whole level. Why have this one singular sun gravestone appear on the final wave? I mean, like, that's so strange, honestly. Alright, there we go. And now we can use Sunshroom, even though we also used it in this level before unlocking it. Pretty much every world starting in release order with Dark Ages in Vanilla did that. They let you use the plant the level that you unlock it from. Don't know why they did it like that. Caution, user Dave. These gravestones here are much more dangerous than the ones at home. Be prepared for unexpected surprises rising from them. Surprises? Do I need to get my hammer? I may consider that. Okay, so this is what I'm talking about. Now we have necromancy ambushes, where zombies will pop out of these graves. They can also pop out of the sun graves. The sun graves are not safe. And a lot of the time, it'll be these imps. But aside from that, this level shouldn't be too bad. What's a cool plant we can use? Bloomerang is also able to deal with graves well enough, and you hardly ever use Bloomerang in this game. So, that's why I use it. But of course it's expensive, so... we have Puff Shroom. Yeah, we do have the Sun Graves in such a way that I could probably just get away with using Bloomerang as my main attacker. But yeah, just in case, to add some spice, let's take Starfruit. Let's take Starfruit. Alright, now you always have to really lock in at the beginning of these levels in order to get maximum sun production out. Because these plants recharge so fast. Oh, Sunshroom specifically, I think it has, what, a 3-second recharge? You know, even Puffshroom's recharge is actually unchanged. I believe it is still 5 seconds, which is like the standard fast recharge in Vanilla. But a lot of these fast recharge plants actually got faster recharges in ECLISE, which is kind of interesting. And my hope is that I can puff stall this guy. Let him die to Starfruit. Alright, give me a Bloomerang. Okay, actually, it'll deal with that Conan fine. Let's get more sun production out. First necromancy ambush of the game. Oh, I think just barely arm in time. I'm hoping Starfruit Shrapnel can help whittle that guy down. This is the only one I'm going to dig up here. Okay, see, now that we have a bunch that have grown up like this, we have a lot more sun production. This level's shorter than the last one. I just realized that. It's shorter. I guess because it's introducing a dangerous mechanic to us, I'm not sure. If a zombie's a bit too close to a potato mine like that, you can always puff stall them. Now, the way the grave spawning in Dark Ages works is very inconsistent between levels. Okay, so like sometimes the graves will spawn and then zombies will immediately necromancy out of them. But sometimes if you can kill enough graves, you'll actually be able to prevent necromancies altogether. And they'll only spawn out of the available ones, which might mean that they'll only spawn like all out of a grave in the back, which is very ideal if you can let that happen. I think I'm just gonna resign to losing that star fruit. I need to be more watchful for bucketheads appearing. Honestly though, we have enough sun that we can just dig these up. Because, I mean, we sort of learned from Ancient Egypt, 2 bloomerangs kills anything. Well, actually, that's pretty untrue when we get any further into this game, but it kills bucketheads well. Alright, so watch this. Yeah, see, look. That time, they spawned graves in order to spawn the necromancy zombies, but because there weren't a lot of graves, they appear stacked out of the graves, because they have a limited number that they can spawn from. And now we have Gravebuster, which is going to be very helpful in Dark Ages. I think this is also the most that we ever get, like, we unlock plants after levels sequentially. Like, I don't know if you just noticed that, but we just played, right, 3-1 where we got Puff Shroom, S-4 where we got Gold Leaf, 3-2 where we got Sunshroom, and then 3-3 where we got Gravebuster. Alright, here is another tip on good defense. You may want to switch up your strategies to win the battle, especially when it comes to picking offensive plants. That way, your defense is more well-rounded and have fewer weaknesses. For example, the Dragon Imp here is immune to fire damage, so don't rely on only firepower as your offensive force. Dragon Imps are barely in vanilla at all. It's a very long story as to why they're so unused, but mods tend to use them a lot. This level is kind of hard. This is the first level that gets kind of hard. Well, in terms of the adventure, it's not as bad as S-4. But what you'll find in Dark Ages is that these 3 plants are always pretty much instant picks, and then oops, we only have 3 seed slots left. Alright. I think I've used this strategy before of Colonel Polton Bong Choi. Now the question is, which of these 3 do we want to bring? The thing is, near the end of this level, there's a really nasty necromancy ambush, where Cherry Bomb would be helpful, but 9 times out of 10, Potato Mine is going to help you in levels like this. You know, these bucketheads, early on bucketheads are going to be a bit of a problem. But this is, like, the game's first hard level in the adventure, I'd say. Although 2-5 can be hard for some people. I am aware of that. Alright, so what you'll find in a lot of night levels like this is there's guesswork at the beginning, where I guess where the first zombie is going to spawn. By just throwing out puff shrooms into the wild, and then I add a second one if I am correct at some point. But we're actually going to stall this guy out more. Let's see here, we can add more puff shrooms, and we'll kill this buckethead with a potato mine. And we don't want zombies getting necromancy back here. This is kind of how you want to tactically play a night level. Yeah. So if we hadn't cleared the graves that were back here, there's a good chance an imp would have been necromancied way at the back of the lawn, which is pretty bad if that happens. I don't need to explain why, because we have, like, nothing back here to really kill them. But eventually, the zombie hordes are going to get stronger. So we start throwing down bonk choys. Is there much higher DPS than Colonel Polt? The disadvantage, of course, being their short attacking range. Okay, let's relax for a bit while we let our sunshrooms grow more. Usually in levels like this, after the first flag is when you'll see the sunshrooms that you placed at the beginning of the level grow to their full size. And you always want to preserve those ones that are going to grow first. So if you're going to shovel sunshrooms, don't shovel the oldest ones, because the oldest ones are going to be your efficient sun producers. Because it takes them like 5 minutes to grow to full size. You can't efficiently replace stuff like that. Yeah, so when graves spawn like that, though, they can force plants out of their way. As you can see, these puff shrooms were just flung back here. I'm actually gonna leave these two, though, just because I might even spam more kernel, just to make sure that nothing gets through in the middle. Because zombies are gonna spawn out of graves, and they're gonna spawn, like, right here, potentially. I want to avoid that the best that I can. Which might mean having to dig up even more to plant more kernel pults, just to be extra, extra safe. I can probably just let these zombies go, though. Better just take them out with a potato mine. Actually, yeah, let's dig up the kernel pole just to speed this process up. Because trying to kill them normally would have been a lot of hassle. But Colonel Polt and Bonk Choi make a great team, and this level's a very good example. We want to eliminate these graves so that the graves have more potential places to spawn, so that hopefully, we don't see zombies appear too close to our defenses. And that's not always the best strategy, because sometimes it might be the opposite, and it might be that we want more graves, so that zombies have more available places to necromancy, and because it works differently in every level. Okay, this I think is the bad wave that I've been talking about, where they can appear really close. And it looks like it was actually the first option as to what could happen that I was talking about. So that's good. As you can see, we had Bonk Choi's flung back here by the graves. Thank you, I wanted one here. And here, why not? We've won at that point. We got past the hard part of the level. Oh, and the whole gimmick of this level, by the way, is the fact that because the Dragon Imps are immune to fire damage, if I were to just put repeaters behind these Torchwoods, it wouldn't work, because the Dragon Imps just wouldn't take damage. Yeah, we can probably just kill him here. There we go. That's 3-4. That's a bit of a tougher one. I think this one's a conveyor. Yeah. Conveyors will also be more common as we go on. That's a lie. Therefore, I'm obligated to give you one more tip about these. You want to play these types of levels slowly. For example, don't kill the zombies too quickly. This way, you can get more plants from the conveyor for you to use. Practice this tip with this challenge. Yes, we won't play this level slow. Because we want to save our squashes for the night zombies. We want to bust these graves at the back as soon as possible. I believe Tier 3 Puff Shroom just has a higher fire rate, but it lives for less time. Can I just... Is he gonna die? No. I do not want to waste a squash on a zombie with that little health. Okay. I savor squashes for guys like you. I'm just gonna plant this here, though. See, as soon as we killed him, the next wave started. You don't want to get overwhelmed by stuff like this. Oh yeah, one helpful tip. Place squashes behind the zombie you want for them to kill. They prioritize zombies that are behind them, and you don't really want squashes, jumping to kill like that conehead that was in front, for example. Okay, now we want to kind of clear the conveyor to get more squash. See, look how much range the squash has to actually jump. Did not realize how low his health was. This might be the only time you'll ever hear me say this, but I kind of want more pea shooters. Actually, yeah, this is good. We can stack them and let Potato Mine take care of them. I used a lot of squashes lately. I want to save up on more, So I want to see if I can just raw damage as many of these knights as I can. Save it for something very problematic, like that pack of a Buckethead and a knight, for instance. That's something bad that we want to immediately take out. Also, for levels like this, you want to try and waste Gravebusters a lot of the time, because you don't... There's one particular level where this is an actual problem, like it's really part of the level design, but a lot of the time, you're gonna get Gravebusters that you don't want. They're really just an early game plant. So, for instance, like, you want to waste Gravebuster so that your conveyor doesn't get clogged up with them. Because if you have a Gravebuster on the conveyor belt and there are no graves on screen, you can't plant the Gravebuster, and thus you can't empty the conveyor belt. This is why we want to save our squashes, just in case, because there's a bunch of tanky zombies at the end. And now we get to use squash for our own. And squash is really, really good. Even though it costs more sun, it is a very useful instant. Just because of its ability to kill a bunch of zombies. It's better than Potato Mine in a lot of cases. Okay. A new challenge has arisen. These lovely flowers will perish if the zombies step on them. As such, you should try to protect them from being trampled. Any plants planted directly on top of the flowers should prevent zombies from doing so. Alright. This is going to be our first Don't Let the Zombies Trample the Flowers level. And flower lines can be a bit of an issue in this game. Bit of an issue. Oh, I should definitely bring Squash since I just unlocked him. So, I'm trying to think of how to deal with this level. We got high health zombies, but we also got Explorer, which means if I've got like a walnut, for instance, on top of this flower line, Explorer can kill it. But I could just prevent them from ever getting to the flower line in the first place with Kernel Pult. Also, if they're in the middle of a column like they are on this level, if you put spike weeds on top of them, that won't count as the zombies trampling the flowers. But for my last plant, I would imagine Potato Mine. Well, yeah, I'm going to almost need Potato Mine for this level. There aren't a lot of sun graves. I'm pretty scared to not have, or I would be pretty scared to not bring Puff Shroom. But I don't know what I really need to replace it with. So, let's rock. You always want to do this. Put the Gravebuster down after your second one produces sun. That'll get you sun a lot faster than it would if you planted 3. Because then you have to wait for the cooldown. You want to snowball into stable sun production as quickly as possible. That's always the name of the game. And if you want them to step on Potato Mine, stall them out. Stall them out with Puff Shroom. It's not even really that advanced of a tactic. Puff Shroom is designed to be cannon fodder. That is its purpose. I'm gonna squash this guy when he gets closer. Alright, now we want to start busting graves and planting stuff down because I do not want a zombie appearing from a necromancy, you know, on top of the flowers. That would be pretty bad. Usually I would stop. Ah, come on. Come on. There we go. I would stop planting sunshrooms when you have 3 columns of them. That's usually enough. Because by the time you have 3 columns, they're also going to start growing. I think with all the butter, we can afford to put a potato mine that close to the night zombie. So with the power of corn, any level is possible. That's not entirely true. Don't take that at its word 100% of the time, please. Oh, as you can tell though, when you have a lot of puff shrooms on screen like this, they can kind of get loud. Like, I have to squash that, I'm sorry. Stuff like that, like groups of night zombies or the like, are not gonna die very, easily. Colonel Polt is good at just stalling out zombies. It can deal with weak zombies, but, you know, yes, there are times where you're going to need more powerful attackers. But overall, there we go. We were able to beat 3-6. There we go. First flower line level defeated. Flower line levels can be a pain sometimes. Oh boy, secret level time. The good news, though, is that S-5 isn't that hard. is S-5 actually gives us these hypno shrooms for free, which is kind of cool. And also, we get to see Zombie King much earlier than he's going to appear in the main game. So this will be fun. Now, I've beaten this before with Kernel Spam, and using Kernel Pulled this much in a row, I know is probably a bit yeah, but it's very effective here, especially with Graves. I promise I will not use Kernel Spam to stun lock every level. But that being said, here's the thing. Potato Mine's good for the early game. We have Hypno Shrooms for the early game, so I'm not going to bring Potato Mine. I'm going to bring Squash as my main instant. I'm obviously going to bring Gravebuster. Puff Shrooms is like meat shields. And then I feel like Cherry Bomb would be good, but honestly, like a level like this, the Kernel Pulled Starfruit strategy is good. And a lot of this game I'm not going to be using Starfruit. Let's just do this. So you don't have to do anything at the beginning of this level. Just let him eat the Hypno Shroom. I don't really need to do anything right now. This can even help aid our hypnotized zombie. But yeah, we want to get some production up. And, you know, I really didn't need Puff Shroom for this level. Oh boy. And so it begins. Actually, like, if I squash him now, he won't be a problem. Oh, that's right. I kind of forgot about, like, the main gimmick of Dragon Imps. Stuff is probably gonna get dicey here. I find it interesting that, you know, swarms of dragon imps are able to completely bring my defense to its knees like this. I want to cherish these guys in the back. That's so squashable right there. I'm just gonna start putting more kernel bolts way in the front. Alright. It's always nice to get a very satisfying cherry bomb like that. We can take up that one guy, because it's still a small one. Like this. That's not gonna die to a kernel bolt, that's gonna die to a squash. And we might not have cherry bomb off recharge for the final wave, so we're gonna have to stall. Ooh. As you can tell though, the this level is still definitely easier than S-4. Is it outright easy? That's more debatable, but it's easier than S-4, I'll say that. That's the thing. These levels are not like sequentially difficult. They definitely ramped up from 0 to 1 to 2 to 3 to 4, but now they can be all over the place in terms of how tough they may be. See, if you see packs like this that do not die, squash. This is the one wave that I can just completely let go if I want. Oh, I think it's gonna get eaten. It's alright though. Because I pretty much just gotta deal with dragon imps. Looks like we've got the top stun locked, and this row still has a Hypnoshroom in it. Though I don't think we're going to need to use it, no. Ladies and gentlemen, that was S-5. Not bad at all. I've never really had much difficulty with this level. Kernel spam always works. It works a lot better on this than S-4. S-4 feels like this struggle for survival. S-5 isn't that bad. It's on par with just like the difficulty of the adventure mode levels. But now we have Hypnoshroom, and Hypnoshroom's honestly better just because it's got like a nice sun cost and all that, and I think its recharge isn't that bad either. I don't know. I should probably consult the almanac for that. I mean, what kind of time do I have? I've been going for a while, but I suppose I will end by actually double-checking myself. What is Hypnoshroom's recharge? 40. Yeah, Squash's is fast. Squash's is fast. Hypnoshroom's is kind of slow. I think its main benefit is really the fact that its sun cost is lower than squash. It's not as good as squash, but it has its uses. Well, with that, I will make an episode covering the next half of Dark Ages, and potentially S-6, if that doesn't end up becoming its own video, because S-6 is a different kind of difficult. It really is. But considering that I spent hours attempting it the last time I played it, I know the exact plant that you use to beat it. I just need to, stop being rusty. I gotta remember where the zombies appear and all that. But that'll be a problem for future me. For now, have fun.